Hello and welcome. The first Tuesday in April has come and gone since I am recording and hopefully also uploading this video a day later on Wednesday, the 3rd of April. It means that Humble Bundle choice games for the month are available now, and I will go over each one of them here. But before we get into those game overviews, I want to share some general thoughts regarding this month's game choices. April Humble Bundle choice is probably the best one ever for me personally. This is because there are 4 games I was interested in, including some pricey ones that I have not seen go on a big sale on Steam yet. Of course, what you would view as a considerable discount for each title available here might differ from my definition, as I am a bit of a cheap mothercracker. Either way, Humble Bundle hitting a bullseye on 4 games that I actually wanted but have not bought yet because of low gaming budget and other games taking priority on sales is quite a lot, especially since the entire monthly membership gives 8 games in total. Also, there is one game that I already own because I bought it on release, but even this one made me quite happy. I am talking about Humankind. Humble put a definitive edition of the game into the bundle, and while I did enjoy some 35-ish hours of playing back when the game came out, I never bought any DLC that came out later. Now I have them in my Steam library basically for free, as the entire Humble Bundle Choice membership costs a bit less than €12 in total, which is a price I would have most likely paid to buy just one of these games on a Steam sale. At least that is how I view these monthly bundles. For me, it is like buying a single, usually deeply discounted game and getting 7 other games for free. I might be a bit weird in this regard, but somehow it seems more proper than thinking of each one of the games as being €1.50. Also, couple other games do look interesting to me. All this makes this month's choice even better for me, as there is only one game that I am currently not interested in playing. Anyway, I think I have strung you along for long enough now, so here is the list of the games. If you get the April Humble Bundle Choice membership, you can claim these games: Victoria 3, the Callisto Protocol, Humankind Definitive Edition, Fashion Police Squad, Terraformers, Symphony of War the Nephilim Saga, Coromon, and the Excavation of Hobbs Barrow. And with the introduction out of the way, let's now go over the short overview and my thoughts on each one of these games. Victoria 3 is a grand strategy game from Paradox that came out less than 2 years ago. It is the same type of a game as games from the Crusader Kings, Europa Universalis and Hearts of Iron series, which means you can choose which one of the many countries around the game world you want to control. Victoria 3 brings you into the 19th and early 20th century. I personally wanted to try the game out for a while now, but was not motivated enough to drop my cash on it. I did enjoy playing Europa Universalis 4 and Crusader Kings 3 and thought I might enjoy this one too. Now I can play Victoria 3 at any time I want to, but I am not very likely to get to it anytime soon, as my backlog is rather full of other games I want to play first and my free time is limited. However, if I happen to wake up one morning determined to play this game, I have the option now. You might be surprised how often that sort of stuff happens to me. I am not one of those gamers that can plan all their sessions ahead of time, as what I want to play often changes on a whim, and I do play games for my own enjoyment rather than to tick a bunch of boxes on a list of what I should play and when. Anyway, this is the base version of the game without any DLC, and this is Paradox we are talking about. So expect a spam of DLC, many of which will be overpriced and sometimes add game mechanics that probably should have been in the base game. But to be honest, there aren't that many DLC for Victoria 3 at this time compared to most older Paradox games, and I am sure the base game is enjoyable too. The Callisto Protocol is a third-person survival horror game similar to Dead Space. It too came out less than 2 years ago, and from what I remember it came out to a fairly mixed reception due to some performance issues and many people finding the combat system and character movements to be rather clunky and slow. But many also liked the game, and I was one of the people who were on the fence when it came to buying it. Ultimately, I decided I would wait for a big sale or for it to drop in the Humble Bundle choice. I really enjoy science fiction, and while I am a bit too much of a wimp to play horror games regularly, I do sometimes play them. The Callisto Protocol is now on my shortlist of games I want to play, but it will have to wait until I am done with one of the other chunkier games that clog my SSD at the moment. Anyway, same as with Victoria 3, this is the base game only, so if you want any of the DLC, you will have to buy them separately. But at least you can play the full base game at a massive discount now. Actually, I think I might clear out some clutter and install this later today, as looking at the screenshots makes me wanna see if the game really looks that good. Hopefully, I do not need 4090 to run it at max settings. Humankind Definitive Edition, unlike the previous two games, contains the base game of Humankind as well as most of its DLC. From what I can tell, none of the music DLC are included, but the rest of them are. Either way, Humankind is a turn-based strategy game similar to games from the Civilization series. And while it is mixed on Steam, I personally did enjoy the base game back when it came out. I especially find the Wandering Hunter-Gatherer era mechanic to be fun and enjoy the early eras after founding the first city too. I did get somewhat bored in late game though, but I do have that exact same problem with the Civilization games and pretty much any other games of this sort. In any case, I would recommend it if you are like me and enjoy the Civ style games. I already installed it again after a long time of not playing it and plan on having a session later today or tomorrow. Fashion Police Squad is the one game in this month's membership bundle that I have absolutely no interest in. It appears to be a shooter where you go against characters with bad taste when it comes to fashion. I must say that this is a setting where I would be an arch-villain, as I am one of those guys capable of wearing just about anything regardless of how it goes with other articles of clothing I happen to be wearing at that time, as long as it is comfy and conveniently placed at the time when I need to put on some clothes. If I lived someplace warm enough and with culture loose enough to walk around naked or in my undies, I would just do that on most days. Terraformers is a turn-based colony builder where you terraform Mars. According to its Steam page, this game has some roguelike elements too. I had this one on my wishlist as it looks interesting and I am glad I own a copy now. I cannot really say much more about it though, as this was one of those games that randomly came up in my Steam Discovery queue and I liked what I saw enough to hit that wishlist button, and that is the whole story of why I wanted Terraformers. Hopefully I will have the time to play it sometime this year. Symphony of War, the Nephilim Saga, is the fourth game in this bundle that I wanted, but to be honest, I do not even remember why. I just remember that I was interested in it at one time and it was on my wishlist, but I never bought it and eventually removed it from my wishlist when I was cleaning it from games that looked interesting, but not enough for me to actually buy them. Anyway, this one is a turn-based strategy RPG. Coromon is a monster taming game that looks interesting, but I have never come across this one before. Still, the game looks nice and maybe I will play it at some point in my life, perhaps when I am old and have nothing else to keep me occupied. The Excavation of Hope's Barrow is a folk horror adventure. The art style and the setting looks interesting to me, and I am much more likely to play this one than Coromon, but it too will have to wait for a time when I am in the right mood for it and have the extra time. Until then, it shall pad out my Steam collection of games. To conclude, this month's Humble Bundle choice made me quite happy and excited to reinstall and play Humankind once again, as well as to try out the Callisto Protocol and possibly even Victoria 3. Although that last one will most likely have to wait, as grand strategy games from Paradox have the bad habit of deleting all my free time and leaving me with the feeling that I have not achieved anything yet and need to play more with no sleep and food and toilet visits. I am not at a point in my life where I can afford those sorts of gaming sessions. In any case though, the April Choice membership does offer quite a lot of value for the low price of less than 12 euros. My Steam collection grew once more, and this time I actually intend to play more than 50% of the games I got sometime this year. Of course, whether I will actually be able to play them is another story, as I do have quite a lot of games in my library now, and many of them are in that category of games that I want to play someday soon. Anyway, thank you for watching, claim that like button, subscribe to the channel, and have a wonderful day.